1, 2, 3.
I'm
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Woo! Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of the Black and Abundant podcast. We are your hosts. I am Nia Jackson, and this is my wonderful husband, Jamal Jackson. And we are here today on the #1 podcast for Black love and Black wealth. How are you doing, baby?
I'm doing well. I'm executing. I'm doing well, but I'm also being my best. And I'm just happy to be here once again. Hey, they don't let your favorite couple back into the party one more time. So we might as well give them a show. You feel me? We're happy to be back. What's good?
You gonna show them your socks today?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you want to go ahead and dive into that?
Yeah, go.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hey, what's
Knock
good,
out the
family?
way.
Might as well. Y'all know what it is. You know, I'm coming with the socks every episode. But let me say this before I reveal who we rocking with today. Hey, Black and Abundant socks are on the way. So stay tuned for that. Y'all already know. Black and Abundant merch on the way. So come shop. Also, Black and Abundant socks. But until then, I want to say this. You know, you got that one friend that one friend is don't look like you, but their energy, you rock with them. And that one friend get invited to the cookout every time because you rock with them.
Who's
So my
that
one partner
friend?
every time. I've been rocking with him for a long time. We got the Johnny Bravos.
Can you see the socks?
We got the
Yeah,
Johnny
look.
Bravos today. Hey, I know this is Black and Abundant podcast. I know. Look, Anna, make it very
Got
clear.
this white man.
We very
on
for
our
our
Black and
people.
Abundant
Yes, I know
podcast.
Johnny White, but hey, Johnny taught me a lesson when I was a kid, though. So I'll pull the lesson, which is, hey, for those, if you know, you know, Johnny was gonna get what he wanted. He was gonna go after what he wanted every single
feel it.
time. I learned the valuable lesson through Johnny as a kid is that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take in life. So he was shooting his shot.
He
So
was.
I learned from that consistency. Even though he failed almost every time, he was still shooting his shot. So Johnny Bravo, I rock with you. All right, let's get it.
All right, now that we've gotten the sock of the day out of the way, let's share with you guys what the topic of the podcast is today. And the topic, it hasn't been officially named, but the topic is grief. And the reason why we want to dive into this episode today is because we went through a very life-changing experience recently, and we are currently in a state of grieving. But we want to share with you guys what that journey has been like and the lessons that we've learned from this process. Because for me, this is my first time experiencing grief in the form of the loss of a loved one. Right. So this was a very new and challenging experience for me. So I'm excited to dive into that topic and tell you guys more about it. So let's get into it, babe.
For sure.
I have a question for you, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Do you know that you need to heal, but maybe you just don't know where to begin? Or maybe you see that your trauma is holding you back and slowly destroying your relationships. Maybe you don't even understand what you're feeling, but you know that you're tired of going through the same problems. If that resonates with you, I can tell you why you're probably feeling that way. It's because you don't know how to control your fucking emotions. And no, I don't mean suppressing them. I mean processing them, addressing them, and reflecting on them so that you can have better discernment and higher intuition. And if you don't know how to do that, I'm going to teach you in my How to Control Your Fucking Emotions Masterclass. Not even 10 years ago, I overdosed. I had depression, generalized anxiety disorder, I was in an abusive relationship, I was self-harming, and I was having anxiety attacks almost every day. Fast forward to today, I'm emotionally stable, extremely confident, happily married, and loving life. I'm a completely different person. But how did I do it? I committed to increasing my emotional intelligence through study and consistent practice. I've already sorted through all of the bad advice online and trial and errored my way to emotional freedom so that you don't have to. I'm giving you a decade worth of expert level information on emotional intelligence in a 2-hour beginner friendly class. This is honestly information we all should have been taught as kids, but you know, generational curses, am I right? So do your kids a favor and break the cycle now. I'm going to teach you everything that I know. And honestly, I could charge you at least 5 bands for it. But it's only $97. Oh, and the first 100 orders are 50% off. So if I were you, I would hurry up and visit www.nialovecoach.com/emotions or click the link in the description. Now let's get back to the episode. But first, don't forget to take that and apply it.
Oh, story time, right?
It is.
I'm
story
diving into the
time.
story time.
Yep.
All right, look. So it's been about a week now, right?
A little over a week.
So about 8 days ago, we unfortunately lost our youngest baby, our youngest baby dog. Her name was Nubia, aka Bia. She passed away. The day before, she was just completely fine, and then the next morning, I went down to check on her, and she was gone. She was gone.
Yep.
And it hit different. It hit different. So I don't know what much to
I'll
really
take it from
here.
here.
Yeah, take
baby.
it from there. Yeah.
He wanted me to handle the story time, so I always have to handle the hard part. But y'all, it happened on Sunday, last Sunday, not this past Sunday. And I just remember waking up that morning because I heard Jamal like screaming, "Fuck, man, fuck." And for some reason, I knew immediately what had happened. I didn't know who, but I knew what had happened because I could just hear it in his voice. And he came upstairs, and I don't think he had even fully accepted it yet. But we went down there, and without being too graphic, she was cold.
Yep.
You know, she was cold. So it was wraps from there. But we couldn't get an autopsy done or anything. The place that we took her to, they didn't offer autopsies on the weekends. And more than anything, we just kind of wanted it to be over. Because it was shocking for the both of us. When he says that there was literally no signs, she was the happiest, healthiest dog. Like, she was growing up so well, doing so extremely well. We were just talking about how she was learning so fast, how she was getting comfortable with us, and how she had come a long way just to lose her like that.
She was 7 months, by the way.
7 months old.
Yeah, we got her when she was 3 months.
We only had her for about 5 months-ish.
Yeah, and as we're talking about this, we should do a picture slideshow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you guys can see her. But that was our baby, man. We ended up getting her cremated and her ashes in a community ash. But yeah, so going into that day, I really want to just talk about how we handled grief differently. Do you want to kick us off? I want to dive into where your head was.
Immediately in real time, now looking back at it, where my head was, for me personally, yes, this is not my first rodeo with grief, by the way, y'all. So, and I want to, as I'm talking and sharing my story, I want to ask a question. Have y'all experienced grief in your life, and how did you handle it, or how are you currently handling it? Help us out by leaving your experience in the comments below, okay? We genuinely want to know. So, but the way that I took it hard at first, but I was able to get over it quite quickly. Not because like I didn't care, and I think about her every single day, but my emotional process behind my understanding and relationship with grief is stronger because this wasn't my first rodeo. But to be real with you, I was angry at myself. I immediately went into like, what did I do wrong? Yeah. You know, how this was my fault. I blamed it on myself, you know? So that was my immediate emotions coming out of that. But what was your, experience? And this is your first time dealing with grief. You never, and I remember you telling me that one thing that you, I guess, fear or didn't look forward to, and you knew one day it was going to come, but just a thought of thinking about it, intimidates you and scare you. But then out of nowhere, you had to address it head on. So please share with the world your experience.
I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I honestly had a extreme fear of grief. Even in the days leading up to losing Nubia, I would have these flashes of my loved ones dying in my head. Like, this has been happening for like months. I've been having like flash of loved ones dying in my head, and I'll just push it out. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, babe. I'll just push it out. I'll just ignore it. But I could not run away from this underlying feeling of, I felt like death was coming towards me, and I was absolutely terrified of losing someone. I didn't know how I would react. I didn't know how I would behave. I didn't know how I would feel. And I believe that that unknown is what was terrifying me more than anything, because grief is like that ultimate emotion, right? It's that motherfucker, essentially. It behaves in so many different forms, and there's so many different levels to it, and everyone reacts to it differently. So I believe that my fear was just connected to not even know what was going to happen. So when I saw Nubia for the first time, I was immediately hit with shock. I couldn't even cry. We were just downstairs screaming, honestly, just wailing, because we had just lost, our baby. Like, we spent every single day with her, raising her from a puppy, all the patience, all the time.
All day. We have a lifestyle. We built a lifestyle and continuously building a lifestyle to where we do life with each other every single day. I wake up with my wife. I go to bed with my wife, and we spend all day, every day together. And yes, there's times we were separate, but while we're doing life together, we have our dogs that spend all day with us. So we're like getting a lot of time in with our dogs. So it hits different. So even though it was just 7 months, time spent with her. Well, we got her at 3 months, but she passed at 7 months. What's that? 3, 4, 5, 6.
It was almost 5 months.
Almost 5 months, but in those 5 months felt like 5 years.
Yeah, it really did.
But yeah, keep going.
It really did. No, honestly, going through that whole process, and I'm sorry, y'all, like, this is my first time really like actually trying to relive that moment, and I'm getting sad.
Take your time.
I'm getting sad. I'm going to be honest. Bia was very special to me.
Yeah.
She was like my dog. We were very, very close.
Yeah.
So it's really sad for me, but I just want to talk about our revelations from losing Bia, because for me, after all of the shock had passed and we had, found a way to get a Great Dane into a car, it was a terrible experience. Oh my God. It was, she was extremely heavy and stiff, and it was just. Yeah. But anyway, after we had finally taken her to the vet and said our goodbyes and everything, I told Jamal that I felt like the grief that was on me, the sadness that I was feeling was so heavy that I could not carry it by myself. And trying to talk to Jamal about it, even though, I love Jamal and I talk to him about everything. And normally when he's there for me, it's absolutely enough, right? But this time I was so overwhelmed with emotion, and I did not want to put my grief and share all of that sadness with him, because he was going through his own grief and his own emotions. So I told him, I said, babe, I feel like I need my community right now. I really want to be with my community. I really want to call my friends. And Jamal, like, he was kind of opposed to it because he wanted to go through his own process by himself, which I can respect. And I appreciate him for putting that to the side to accommodate for me in my time. So shout out to our friends that came over. Shout out to, since they said that we don't shout them out and we don't say their names. Chris, Shalika, Wes,
shout out to
Devin.
my guys, Wes, Devin, great, amazing guys. Chris, Shalika,
we love you
y'all
guys
came
so much.
through. They, eliminated their schedule and came through and spent the whole day. There's some real friends right there.
Yeah.
So shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Got nothing but love for y'all. And that's what it's about at the end of the day, having solid relationships that, people that you can count on, and they'll come, at a drop of a dime.
Yeah.
When life situations happen. And that's how it's supposed to be in our world.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And this is, I want to also pat myself on the back for this, because I'm someone who, I keep pretty much everyone at a distance. And I feel like I've talked about this on the podcast before, and saying that I keep people close, but not too close. As in, like, I still have this wall up when it comes to others. And I have a hard time being vulnerable. But I'm so grateful and proud of myself that I was able to express what I needed in that moment, recognize what I needed in that moment, right? I'm glad that I had the emotional intelligence to recognize what I needed in that moment, but also, you know, the courage and the confidence to be able to reach out to my friends and say, hey, I need you. Like, I just sent one text and I was like, you know, we just lost Bia. I need y'all. And they came over, and me and Shalika got close. I was crying in the shower, and she came in the shower and comforted me. So I just want to say, if that went vulnerable, I don't know what vulnerable is, right? So I'm so grateful that I was allowed to lean on my community. And to you guys, like, if you are someone who is afraid to share your weaknesses and share your darkest moments with the people that you love, I am pushing you to try. Just give it a shot. Just give it a shot. You don't know how they'll respond until they respond, right? So I'm glad that I gave my friends the opportunity to love on me, and they over-delivered.
Yeah.
They over-delivered.
I got a question. Please share with our people just what did you learn about yourself when it came to Bia, and also just the passing of Bia, and I'll share my experiences as well. But like ultimately, like, what are you learning, and what have you learned so far that you feel like it's important for people to know? Because this is real time right now, y'all.
Right. Sorry, but let me introduce you guys. That was Kimmit. She was growling. This is our baby Kimmit, our beautiful Great Dane. And here's my baby Anime, our teacup Yorkie. Yes, they are very starkly different, but they're our babies. May is 13 years old.
I don't think they can see May.
You can't see May?
Yeah.
May is 13 years old.
Yeah, that's May.
That's my baby. How old is Kimmit?
They can see Kimmit though, right? Hey y'all, all right, this is my dog, my baby. I'll say ours.
Whatever. But, that's his dog.
But I got this one and took full leadership in, with her. So she knows that I'm her master. And this is my baby for real.
She's about to be 2.
She's about to be 2.
Yep.
But yeah, this is Kimmit, y'all. Kimmit, and for those that know or don't know, Kimmit is the name of ancient Egypt.
Or Kemet.
Yeah, Kemet stands for the land of the black. Yeah. So when I saw her, I was like, man, just look at her coat, y'all. She's extremely black. I'm all for just learning about our history and whatnot. So I wanted to
being black and abundant.
And Bia's name was Nubia.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, but
my dad named Anime after Tina Turner. But
that's what's up.
Anyway, going back to what I've learned about myself in this experience, grief has taught me that I can pretty much handle anything. Even when I feel like I can't. Honestly, I told you guys that leading up to losing Bia, I was absolutely terrified of the idea of going through grief. But I believe that this happened, not saying that, it was my fault, but I believe that losing Nubia was supposed to teach me that there's nothing to be afraid of. There's this quote that says that the fear of death is always scarier than death itself. And this experience definitely taught me that. Like I said, Nubia was super close to me and I absolutely loved her. So losing her was hard. Seeing her laying there was hard. It was probably one of the most traumatizing. The image still haunts me. It's probably one of the most traumatizing things that I've had to go through in terms of death. But what I'm experiencing now, even though the grief comes in waves, the sadness, it comes in waves, what I'm experiencing now is a sense of freedom, a sense of peace, and a sense of acceptance. And I want to say that partly it has to do with Jamal and the way that he has approached this and how he taught me to approach grief. So I would love for you to talk about your perspective.
Wow. Woo. All right, let's unpackage that. Before I do, hey, if you got your green juice, toast up. We sipping on some green juice because juice is important, right? And over here at the Jacksons, hey, we drink juice out of wine glasses.
Pause. Angelique, what happened?
So the screen went out.
Is it dead?
Does it still record even though?
Shake it.
Oh, well, it's asking for a password.
Oh, 4 spaces.
And we're going to change that password.
Okay, it's still recording. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
No, you good. And y'all, shout out to Angelique,
Angelique
aka
back
Angel
there.
back there on the boards, 1s and 2s. Hey, amazing woman. She comes through for us very, man, look, just be on the lookout. She got some amazing things on the way, but in her own time, but she just popping shit. So shout out to you.
Angelique.
Hey, but yeah, green juice out of wine glass. So toast up.
You had all that time that I was talking to drink your green juice, and
Yeah.
you want to wait until now.
Yeah, hey,
Crazy.
it's my house, it's our podcast.
Go
Do what you
ahead.
want to do. Black and abundant. That's what we do. All right, but so the question is just my experience with grief, right?
Or talking about what you learned from this experience with Nubia.
All right. Let me take my time, y'all. So bear with me. Let me think about this. By the end of the day, or even that afternoon or that early evening, I was overwhelmed with joy, happiness, love, peace, assurance. Like I felt really good. And because I felt that way, that was indicators that, my relationship with grief is pretty solid. Now, let me be first to say, y'all, like, hey, I'm not saying I know everything. I'm just communicating to y'all, let y'all know what works for me and what I've learned in my journey when it comes to grief, because this is not my first rodeo with grief. I've experienced grief with people that's been alive, because you can have grief with people that's alive, that's still living right now. And I've also experienced grief with people that pass away. My most recent experiences with grief was with my parents, my grandparents, but they raised me ever since I was 10 months old. Rest in peace to my pops, my grandma. My grandma passed 2021, and then my granddad passed right around like 4 months later. So back to back. So I had 2 experiences that I had to overcome and deal with when it came to grief. But let me share. Yes, it sucked, y'all. Grief is, man, it's not one of those things I don't want to wish nobody, but it's just a part of life.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Just like death is going to happen. And what I realized, what helped me to have a great relationship when it comes to grief, and I know that I'm okay moving forward no matter what happens in this life and whatever grief tries to do, is that I've accepted the fact there are certain truths when it comes to life. And I realized the moment I solidified and accepted these truths, I live by these truths. And I'm not afraid of these truths. And because I'm not afraid of these truths, I'm more powerful. I'm more empowered. I have more control over my mind. Mm-hmm. I'm able to navigate the emotions better because I understand what's going on. But in real time, it's not saying I disregard the emotions. And shout out to you, just always been on top of me about just sitting in emotions. Mm-hmm. Just don't rush yourself out of trying to shoot past whatever emotion that you're feeling. Sit in it, let it process itself through, and learn more about yourself as you go through sitting you through your own emotions. The problem is, what I realized with myself in the past, and I see with people, is that we look for escape mechanisms that forces us to run away from ourselves and not sit and address what it is that we're dealing with. So we're always running. How can you get to know yourself if you're always running away from yourself? You feel me? So my previous experience with grief was the best and greatest learning opportunities for me to get closer to myself and learn more about me and become more aware of what's going on. And what I realized with these truths that I was talking about earlier is that one truth is that we're all going to die.
Yeah.
As of right now, in real time, y'all, this is my farewell tour. This is why I'm going hard with everything that I'm doing now. Podcasting, it's up. J School Capital, it's up. My marriage, my wife, and experience, is up, because every single day I lay my head down, there's a page of my life book being turned. I'm getting closer and closer to the end of my book, but I don't know when that day is going to be. So I'm on my farewell tour. So I've just accepted the fact that I'm going to die one day. Everybody that, that I'm doing life with is going to die one day. Why dodge that truth? And I've made peace with death. Yeah. And because I made peace with death, I'm more understanding and chill and cool with it, right? So that's the first thing. The other thing is that everything is temporary.
Yeah.
Every single thing is temporary. Every person is temporary in your life, whether they're going to be in your life for 50 years or 5 months like Bia.
Yeah.
Everything is temporary. And I've accepted that truth. And because I've accepted that, it made my grieving process easier. I don't run away from the truth.
Yeah.
So another thing that I learned with Bia is that it costs, this was so strange. One, she was here in a short amount of time, but I learned so much about myself when it comes to my future parenting style, like changing my parenting dynamics. She exposed me to like, hey, the way that you approach her is you approach her the same way that your parents approach you, and Bia is exposing to you that approach is not okay. You're going to have to fix that before you have real kids. And that's why I look at Bia from a lens of gratitude and not from a lens of pain and hurt.
Yeah.
Like, she taught me some real life valuable stuff that I needed to know prior to. And I'm on a self-development journey, want to learn more about myself. So by the time that when kids come, we're never going to be 100% prepared, but we're going to be prepared enough.
Yeah.
You feel me? And Bia taught me that, like, hey, it's best for you to seek understanding first when it comes to people, instead of trying to change people and change who they are to fit your internal void and desires of to make you feel better about yourself. You got to let that go. That's not okay. But what I learned with B is that seek to understand her because she's unique in her own way and meet her in the middle.
And to give you guys context as to what Jamal is talking about, Bia was a very anxious dog.
Yeah.
She was an extremely anxious dog. We got her from the same breeders that we got Kemet from. They gave us another Great Dane for free. Quick story. We got Kemet for free because Jamal found a Great Dane when he was walking through our neighborhood.
Randomly walking one day and a Great Dane just walked up on my heels and I looked down. I was like, oh, wow. This is a Great Dane puppy.
And so he found where the house that it came from, and they were willing to give him a puppy for free. So that's how we got Kemet. But when we got Kemet, like, her litter was lit. Like, they was jumping off, like, Kemet jumped off like a cliff. It was tall, a very tall ledge. She jumped off of it and like landed on her side. And Jamal was like, yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
But the whole litter was like that. But when we went to get Bia, because they saw Jamal again and was like, hey, you want another one? We're like, sure. When we went to go get Bia, it was just her and one other pup left, and they were both absolutely terrified of us, would not come to us. Like, I had to like get under a car just to get Bia. And she was that way literally for like months. She was absolutely terrified of us. Every time we would come up to her, she would start shaking and crying and peeing everywhere.
Man.
Y'all, we went through a lot with this dog. But as to what Jamal said, she taught us patience. She definitely taught us patience. She taught us communication. She taught us adaptability. I've always been afraid. I wouldn't necessarily say afraid, but having kids is... No, I'll say afraid. Having kids is terrifying to me. I'm going to be honest with you. It just seems like a very daunting task. And everyone that has kids always tells us, take your time. Don't rush. You know what I'm saying? So it always gets portrayed as if it's just this impossible task that's just, you know, never ending, you know, not, I wouldn't say not necessarily worth it, but it takes a lot out of you. So going into this situation with Bia, it taught me that, okay, maybe we actually can do this. You know, maybe we actually can have kids, even though we've never had kids before. I trust that we'll be able to adapt. I trust that we'll be able to look at them and listen and attend to their needs and adjust to our children, you know? So I'm grateful that Bia taught us that, but continue your thought.
And yeah, that's good. And I just want to say this, like, hey, like, if I was to have a child today, I know I'm ready. I know I would be an amazing father. I know I'm ready to be a father, but I'm not ready to have children right now. Just being 100 with y'all. Hey, we selfish as hell. We got a lot of stuff that we have on our plate they want to desire to do.
A lot to do.
And just children is just not an equation. But shout out to all the parents out there that's holding down our black, beautiful parents, single mothers, single fathers, married couples, you know, whatever the situation is. If you waking up every single day and you have another human being on your mind that you have to take care of despite how you feel and what's going on in your life, and you have to show up regardless, salute to you. respect to you, and can stay encouraged and keep showing up. And I know one thing that a lot of parents say when it comes to children, that their child or children teaches them patience.
Yeah.
It teaches them to slow down and patience. And Bia definitely taught me that. She taught me that, hey, you take a lot of things personally because she's not doing what it is that you need her to do for you, for your own selfish benefit. And that in you is not okay. Why is it that when she does something that you don't agree with, because that's her personality, you take it personal, so you get angry or something like that? Instead of seeing her as the problem, no, my nigga, you the problem.
It always comes down to emotional control.
Exactly. So she helped me to always reinforce, the idea of just pointing the finger back at myself. No, what is about yourself that you need to adjust? And Bia taught me that, so I appreciate that about her. And yeah, so shout out to Bia. And also within that time, she came in unexpectedly and she left unexpectedly.
Just as unexpectedly.
And another thing that really stood out to me, this is how I know this was, she was just here to teach us a beautiful lesson, was that it costed a certain dollar amount to have her cremated. And I had some cash on me, it's important to have some cash on you and stuff like that. And when I looked in my wallet to see what amount of cash that we have, tell me why I had the exact dollar amount.
Not a dollar less.
Not a dollar less, a dollar more. It wasn't like $100, $200. It was like a weird number between number. And I had that exact amount. And I said, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And it's also interesting that the same day, like, we learned so much just about community and just about ourselves. And the day was just beautiful. We just learned, Bill brought an experience that we never had before that day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, reflecting, it was a great, beautiful experience that we needed to experience. And also on top of that, like, ever since Bia passed, things just have been taking off. Taking off. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I think you said something that something had to be let go of in your life to make room for what's to come.
Slow down. I feel like you just hit 10 points in 5 seconds.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Back up for a second.
Sorry.
One, want to say that, you were talking about the day that we got out of it, like the day that we lost Bia. Sidebar, Bia was born on Jamal's mother's birthday, and she passed away on my dad's birthday.
Oh, wow.
Which is another, like, divine sign of her existence and her role in our lives. But what made the day so beautiful is that the love that my heart was grieving, because I think I read somewhere it was saying that grief is just love with nowhere to go.
Wow.
And my friends, my community gave me the opportunity to put that love that I wanted to give Bia somewhere. And because of that, I was able to, our relationships, our friendships were able to blossom and connect in a way that we never had before. And that's what made the day so special, is that I was able to get closer to my friends in a way that I never have before. And
shout out to Bia for that.
Yeah.
I choose to see Bia from that lens and that light, and see the grief process from that lens. What are the beautiful things that came out of because of Bia?
Yeah.
And one thing that grief has taught me is that, and I feel like I said, this is coming from what I believe, right? Lost my train of thought. Oh, grief is harder when you resist and you don't accept what is. That's what makes the grieving process so hard for a lot of people. That's what made it hard for myself. If you resonate with that, take that. But the sooner I got to acceptance is when I started my healing process. The sooner you get to accepting the what is of your reality and not what was, and stop playing that loop in your mind and start playing the what is loop in your mind, you start your healing process and you are able to move forward, and you can rechannel your energy to focus on the beautiful things that came out of whatever experience or whatever left your life. things have to leave your life in order for you to create more space for more things in your life.
Before we go to letting go, Jamal taught me something incredibly beautiful. And when he said this, he said it that day when we were headed to the park with our friends. And it immediately snapped me out of it.
Oh, damn.
Immediately snapped me out of it.
Damn.
Yeah.
What did I say?
He said, grief only hurts so bad because you wanted things to go your way. Grief only hurts so bad because you wanted things to go your way. It all comes down to this desire for control. What made this process so upsetting is because I saw a future with Bia. I saw her growing up. We were just talking about how she was going to start her period soon and how she was going to be bigger than Kimmit. And when she stands up on our chest, she was almost at our shoulders. Like she was going to grow up and be there. That's what we saw. That's what we had worked so hard for. And to lose that like that, that's what was so sad. I felt like that's what I was grieving. I was grieving the future that we had together. But when Jamal helped me recognize that me grieving the future that we had together is just me trying to have control, trying to make life what I want it to be, rather than understanding that everything happens for a reason. Bia came into our lives and she left our lives for a reason, in order to teach us a lesson. And finding peace, finding gratitude. Every time I have a vision of Bia and I start to get upset, even though I allow myself to feel those moments, I also say thank you.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Bia. Thank you for teaching us this beautiful lesson. Thank you for coming into our lives and allowing us to be your parents for just a short amount of time. I'm so grateful. And that's how I was able to work through the grief a little bit easier.
Yeah. Man, from
Somebody farted. I think it had to be Kim. Are you dying over there? Is that why you got your shirt on your mouth? Okay, cool.
Just taking it in. Yeah.
Okay.
This is more than credit repair. This is a movement. For too long, you've been told no, denied, overlooked, held back. But what if I told you that ends today? At JSCO Capital, we don't just fix credit. We shift mindsets. We break cycles. We create new beginnings. This isn't just about a credit score. This is about your future, your family, your freedom. Because real wealth starts in the mind before it ever reaches the bank account. That's why we educate. That's why we empower. Every signature on a contract, every approval, every new key handed over, it starts with a decision. The decision to take back control. Your past mistakes, they don't define you. Your future is waiting. The only question is, are you ready to claim it? This isn't just about credit. It's about community. It's about shifting your entire reality. It's about stepping into your power. And we don't just talk about it. We show up. We educate. We execute. Because when one of us wins, we all win. You deserve this. Your future self is waiting for you to make the move. Start today. Visit start.jscocapital.com. No more waiting. No more hoping. It starts now. JSCO Capital. This is a movement. Be a part of it. Be okay, basically.
Feel what you feel.
Feel what you feel, yep.
Feel what you feel. The only way to process your emotions is to feel them. And it sucks. Like, I hated those moments where I could feel the sadness welling up in my chest and I just wanted to run. Like, I didn't want to feel that. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to hurt. But that only prolongs the pain. It only makes it worse.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I sat there and I was like, okay, Nia, just let yourself grieve. And I just let myself cry. I let myself feel it. I let myself just go through the pain, no matter how painful that it was. But the beautiful thing about emotions is that once you feel them, they dissipate on their own. Once you feel them, they dissipate on their own. So instead of running from the grief, instead of running from the sadness and the disappointment and the fear, you just have to lean into it and feel it.
You know, another thing that I feel like it's important for me to share this, and this is another core truth that I accepted within myself. And this core truth is what has allowed me to live a life of peace, understanding, and just better management when it comes to my understanding with emotions such as grief. And I don't know why I keep losing my train of thought, bro. I keep losing my train of thought. It'd be like right there. I have to catch
You gotta
it.
add some comedic relief.
Yeah.
This is such a heavy topic.
Yeah,
I
it
understand.
is. Oh, here's a core truth that I accepted and it has allowed me to stay in a continuous state of peace, fulfillment, and just understanding when it comes to this life thing is that my ability to let go and understanding how to let go is what allows me to live in a continuous state of peace because I don't associate my identity to things and people. And I realized that my previous experiences with grief, it was so hard for me because I had a difficult time of disassociating who I was. I connected my identity to this relationship, this person, this whatever this thing is that was a part of my life for an extended period of time, whether that was my parents, it was a part of my life for 25 plus years. You know what I'm saying? And you would think that these things, these people or whatever is going to be in your life forever. So when they get stripped away from you, you spiral out because you associated your identity with these things, these people, and you actually believe that you was going to live a whole lifetime with these people in your life or whatever that got stripped away from you.
Yeah.
So that taught me right there. I don't like the feeling of grief or feeling like I have no control or power. You know what I'm saying? So I asked myself, how can I stay and continue in the seat of peace, control, and power with the things that's within my control? Is I have to not allow myself to attach myself to these things and people. As long as I know that and do that, that's a deeper spiritual understanding. Like you can't, I'm not going to allow myself to do that because when you do that, you give control to these things. So when that thing or person leave your life, that power, that control goes with that person, not with you. So that has helped me on my journey when it comes to understanding grief, that I can't get attached. You can't get attached.
And I want to specify what I believe Jamal is saying here is do not allow the fear of loss to prevent you from love. So in the same token of saying don't allow yourself to get attached, in terms of don't allow your identity to become consumed in something, but allow yourself to love, allow yourself to give yourself the opportunity, take a chance. I know too many people who choose not to be in relationship because they are afraid of the loss. They are afraid of what could possibly happen, how it could go wrong. But just because the ending may happen a certain way, in an unfavorable way, does not mean that the journey cannot be enjoyed. I enjoyed every moment with Bia. I'm so grateful that the day before, you know, I looked her in her eyes and I told her that I loved her, and I did not know that it was going to be the last time that I got to do that. But I'm so grateful that I did. And because I lost her, it makes the love, it makes the journey even more valuable, even more important.
Wow.
So I say that to say, be present. Love on your loved ones as much as possible. And I know that people say that all the time, but I want to remind you, you never know when the day is the last day.
Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that. Hope y'all didn't take that the wrong way, but she said it so beautifully. And that's very important for y'all to take that in your pocket and take it along with you in your journey. And shout out to Bia. She definitely taught us the value of just being present. Being present is very important, y'all.
Wow.
And
life is so much better lived when you live in the moment. Life is so much better lived when you live in the moment. I cannot tell you guys how happy I've been, even amongst the grief, even amongst the trials and the tribulations, even amongst the negative things happening in our lives. There's just so much beauty in just staying present. I used to be so anxious because I was so caught up in the future. What if this happens? What this scenario? I'm always thinking about the worst case scenario. Like, why do we do that? Why not just, one, stay present? And if you're going to think about the future, think about the best case. But staying in the present moment gives you so much peace of mind, so much acceptance, so much freedom.
Right.
So a reminder.
Yeah, I'm not even going to expound on that because I feel like that right there in itself needs its own podcast episode. Because I'm pretty sure some people who would love to learn how to live a present life, who will want to learn how to just be in the moment more. They living in the future too much, and by you being in the future too much, you're causing anxiety within yourself, and it's just robbing you of living a very peaceful, fulfilled, positive life. So I wanted to do a whole podcast episode just on how to be present,
Okay.
because we can definitely
Taking
teach on
note.
that. Yeah, for sure.
But I do want to go back to letting go and what, Bia has, the outcome afterwards. What has been the last week? How has that been like? I want to say Bia taught me the very important lesson of you have to let go in order to accept more abundance into your life. And some things are very hard to let go. Some things we have to be forced to let go of. And the best thing to do in those situations is to just let it flow. Let it go. It's so hard to continue to hold on to things that are no longer active and present in your life. And that includes people, that includes opportunities. Never look back. Okay. I feel like we have a tendency to hold on to a lot of things that don't matter because, like Jamal said, we get our identity caught up in those things, and we are afraid that we will not be able to survive, or we're afraid of what life will look like when we don't have those things. But ever since Bia left our lives, even though we would have never voluntarily chose for her to leave our lives, but because she left our lives, we've been able to accept and attract so much abundance into our life, so much newfound understanding, so much more peace, so much more gratitude through this loss. So every loss is an opportunity.
There you go. Well said. That reminds me of a core truth that I live by and that we live by. And I've been saying this for years, that in order to go up in your life, you have to give up. Whether you give up voluntarily or something's going to be taken away from you because you are being, not saying this wasn't nothing in Bia's
to do what
case,
Bia got.
but like because you've been disobedient to the signs that been showing over and over and over in your face. So the universe, the Most High, is going to be like, all right, look, I try to give you some chances to level up for yourself and catch a lesson, but you just want to be a dumb, ignorant, you know what I'm saying? And so I got to spank your ass.
Yank.
So I got to teach you the hard way because I love you so much that I got to give you this lesson, because if I don't do it this way, you ain't going to get it.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the lesson.
Yeah, I'm super grateful.
Because y'all, on the other side of learning the lesson, there is so much freedom.
Woo.
There is so much peace. When I tell you, the idea of grief used to haunt me every single day. Every single day, I was terrified of grief. Yes.
Really?
And
Wow.
I was so terrified that I did not even want to talk to Jamal about it. Jamal did not even know because I didn't want to manifest it into existence by speaking life into it. But I mean, it happened anyway. But I believe it happened because God was trying to teach me a very important lesson. And so he had to take something from me in order for me to learn. But I'm so grateful to learn it.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm so grateful to learn it.
you express, we talk about how you feel about me and stuff.
That's not a grief that I want to talk about. That's not a lesson that I want to learn.
Yeah.
God, please. I do not want to learn that lesson.
Damn.
That's not a lesson. I love Jamal so much. And I'm going to be honest. It's not that I feel like my identity is tied up into him. But the thing about marriage is that we are one. We are literally one. That's how we function so well. That's how we're able to deliver this to you guys. That's how we're able to create so much abundance and deliver so much purpose and have so much freedom, is because we combined our lives into one. Like, I don't even want to imagine what that severing is going to be like. Like hearing people go, I mean, divorce one, even though that's never going to happen, but hearing people go through divorce and death of their spouse, like, it gets to me every single time because I can imagine. I feel for you. I feel for you. And that's just a bridge we're going to cross. We're going to hope I leave first. But that's a bridge we're going to cross later. But yeah, baby.
Wow.
He going to be all right, though. Like, if you lose, you're going to be sad. But you're going to be all right.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be sad for sure, and I make this very clear, y'all. Like, I obviously don't want that to happen, and I'm not going to be, arrogant enough to say it's not going to happen and stuff like that. It's just that I literally wake up every single day taking full advantage of the opportunity of this life that I have. And I'm just filled with so much gratitude that I get to do life with my wife every single day. And if that, in the event of a day that comes that stops, I've built so much fulfilled and gratitude inducing days that moving forward, it's like, you're going to ever be in my heart, and vice versa. It's like, let's just say in the event that I pass away, you're gonna go on to the next guy. I'm gonna be so strong.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna be so energetically strong on your spirit,
Baby.
your mind and heart, that I'm gonna, hey, make sure you
Baby,
make sure you
ain't
do
no
him
next
right.
guy. Ain't no next guy.
No.
I would just be comparing him to you, and I don't think that's Phil. I'm gonna have to be alone.
With that, no comment. But yeah, I think we should
I'm
go
good,
ahead
man.
and roll on to the next
Yes.
topic.
Tell them what it is, baby. Go ahead and lay that new stuff on them.
I wouldn't want to tell him, but honestly, I forgot what it is. So you
Oh
go ahead
my
and tell.
God. Okay.
Oh, random wisdom.
Random wisdom. Okay, welcome to a new segment of Black and Abundant called Random Wisdom, where we share random wisdom with you guys. It has nothing to do with the topic, but we feel like you guys should just know what it is.
Yeah, what is it, baby?
Random piece of wisdom, random piece of advice. Come here, get close. If you are wanting to transition to a plant-based lifestyle and you don't know where to begin because you just say, I just don't know what to cook. All I ever cook is chicken and mashed potatoes with some canned green beans. I don't even know where to start with a plant-based lifestyle. Let me tell you.
Before you tell them what it is, reach out to me and get my ebook that I created back in 2021, 2022.
I forgot you even had that.
A volume 1 plant-based living. Keep
he
it
has a
simple.
recipe
I have a
book.
recipe book that has plant-based ideas and recipes and all this stuff, mindset that you can get. I will, shoot that your way. Just drop a comment, reach out to us. I have a plant-based ebook readily available for you that's going to change the game for you and your life and your family. Just had to throw it out there. You feel me?
Yes, and there are some amazing recipes in there, but
tell her what it is
I'm going to put you on a simple, easy recipe idea.
that she made.
It's like basic knowledge, but
No,
no one thought to put it together.
When we talk about the does,
Baby.
not the obvious is a blessing to other people. Even though this is obvious to us, the obvious is in our lives is blessing to other people. So no, don't even do that. Nope.
Thank you, Pastor. All right.
Really?
So yes,
You know what?
the idea.
Pastor, it is. I'll take it.
The idea. If you are struggling to create plant-based meal ideas and you want something so easy that you can literally do a million things with, curry. Why? Because curry, you can have Asian curry, you can have Indian curry, you can throw a different type of curry paste. You can do red curry paste, green curry paste. You can put coconut milk in there, or you can put vegetable broth, or you can put both. There's just so many things you can do with curry, man. Any type of vegetable. You can throw all types of vegetables in there. What we put in ours, baby?
We put cabbage. We put purple sweet potato.
Purple sweet potato.
We also put broccoli in there. Sweet peppers from time to time. And
Girl.
we put king mushrooms in it.
Yes, king any
mushroom.
type of mushrooms. I also do like a seafood mushroom if you like portobellos, if you like shiitake.
Tell them, say seafood mushrooms.
Yeah, seafood mushroom.
Black people probably have never heard of a seafood
Go
mushroom.
to the Asian market. First of all, let's just start there. Go to the Asian market. If you want to be plant-based, first of all, Americans suck at that. Try Asian food. Asian people got that on lock. There are a lot more Asian recipes that are catered to a plant-based lifestyle. So that's why I said curry. Switch up the pace. I season mine with ginger, garlic, and mirin. You can throw that in there. Literally, it's so easy.
And
You can do it with rice or noodles. I'm putting y'all on game. You can switch it up every single night. You can use the same ingredients and switch up the sauce.
Yep. If you are on a path of chasing your goals, being disciplined, consistent, and focused, you need to have a go-to recipe that you can always go to that will get the job done, but keep you energized, give you the fuel that you need to think properly and also execute on the life that you're designing for yourself. Because remember, the goal here is not to live a life of default. We're not in default energy over here. Living a life of design. So what that looks like, you got to have some recipes that is life giving, that's go to. It's not going to require a lot of time, so you can get back to what it is that you got to get to.
So my challenge to you guys is try a plant-based meal, even if it's just once a week. Throw a plant-based meal into your regimen and, increase your health, man. Try curry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And with that being said, I think we can wrap this.
We can get this out of here. So my name is Nia Love Jackson, and this is my wonderful husband, Jamal Jackson. This has been the Black and Abundant Podcast. Were we supposed to say something
I guess
else?
I'm pastor now. Look, if y'all want to, if I'm pastor
Jackson.
Pastor J Sco. Hey, look, it is what it is. But we
something else.
We got a different kind of church around here. You feel me? What is it?
We do. I don't remember.
There was something else that we were supposed to do
For the outro?
for the outro.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Oh my God.
Like, comment, subscribe. Leave comments down below. Tell us your main takeaway from this podcast episode. Okay.
Only if you energetically rock with us. We ain't begging y'all to do nothing around here.
Nope.
If
You ain't
feel
gotta
pulled,
comment.
You ain't got to.
don't need your
Cause look, I'm
comment.
just gonna say this. We love y'all, but we're energetically in a frequency and space that we know that the subscribers are gonna rise.
We hit 300 subscribers today.
Hey, look.
Sidebar.
Hey, come with it. Come with
Welcome.
it. Come with it. So look,
Bye.
yeah, get out of here, y'all. We love y'all. But for sure, leave some comments because we want to see your takeaways for sure. But all right,
Love
we
you
out here.
guys.
Wrap it up.
See you next week.
Yeah. All right.